The studio lights were too bright, the kind that make every breath feel exposed, when the words fell like thunder. "I stayed silent for years," Arnold Schwarzenegger said, leaning toward the camera, voice steady but eyes burning, "but tonight, the truth matters more than comfort." In living rooms across the country, remotes froze midair. Phones buzzed. Comment sections woke up. And somewhere backstage, Gavin Newsom felt the floor shift beneath his feet. Just minutes earlier, the show had been rolling smoothly. A friendly conversation. A few laughs. The audience expected nostalgia, motivation, maybe a fitness joke or two. What they got instead was a bombshell wrapped in calm conviction. Arnold spoke about promises made behind closed doors, about power used carefully, and sometimes carelessly, and about moments when leadership demands courage over popularity. He never raised his voice. He didn't need to. Every sentence landed like a weight dropped from a height. Gavin was watching from a private room, hands clasped, jaw tight. He had known Arnold a long time. They'd shared stages, handshakes, and polite disagreements. But this was different. This wasn't a policy debate. This was personal. It felt like a line drawn in front of millions. Gavin's phone lit up with messages, advisors, friends, critics, all asking the same thing in different ways. Are you going to respond? The host tried to steer the conversation back to safer ground, but the energy had already changed. Arnold spoke about responsibility, about the cost of silence, about how leadership isn't about winning the day, it's about protecting the future. He told a story of a late-night decision years ago, when the easy path was chosen instead of the right one, and how that choice echoed longer than anyone expected. "I don't say this to attack," he said softly. "I say this because we can do better." The show cut to commercial, but the moment didn't pause. Clips spread like wildfire. Hashtags formed. People argued, applauded, questioned. Some felt betrayed. Others felt seen. And many felt something rare in modern politics, hope mixed with accountability. When Gavin finally stepped onto his own live broadcast later that night, the air felt heavy. He took a breath that lasted just a second too long. "I watched the interview," he began, choosing his words carefully. "And I won't pretend it didn't hit hard." For a moment, he looked less like a polished leader and more like a man weighing pride against purpose. He spoke about his journey, ambition, mistakes, lessons learned under pressure. He acknowledged that leadership sometimes means listening when it hurts. But as the questions pressed in, the restraint cracked. Exploding didn't mean shouting. It meant the truth spilling out after years of containment. He admitted fear, the fear of losing control, of being misunderstood, of letting people down. "If we're going to be honest," he said, eyes fixed on the camera, "then let's be honest all the way." What followed wasn't a duel, it was a mirror. Viewers watched two powerful figures, shaped by different paths, confronting the same challenge, how to lead without losing your soul. Critics tried to frame it as a fight, but something deeper was happening. This was accountability meeting vulnerability on live television. Behind the scenes, aides scrambled, but the public leaned in. Comment sections filled with stories, people sharing moments they stayed silent, moments they spoke up too late, moments they wished they'd been braver. The conversation had escaped the studio and become something bigger. The next morning, Arnold released a short statement. No gloating, no victory lap, just a reminder, progress isn't about who wins the argument. It's about who listens and acts. Gavin followed with a town hall announcement, inviting voices he'd once avoided. Not for optics, at least not only, but because the pressure had forced a reckoning. Weeks passed, and the noise settled into something steadier. Policies shifted. Dialogues opened. Trust didn't magically repair itself, but cracks let light in. People who had tuned in for drama stayed for growth. They felt included in a process that usually happens behind closed doors. The story didn't end with applause or defeat. It ended with a choice. A choice to believe that even in explosive moments, something constructive can rise. That honesty, though uncomfortable, can be contagious. That leadership isn't proven when everything goes right, but when someone has the courage to say, "I was wrong, and I'm ready to do better." If you felt that tension in your chest while reading this, if you've ever stayed quiet when you shouldn't have, or spoken up when it mattered, then you already understand why this moment resonated. This isn't just about two famous names on live TV. It's about all of us, watching, learning, and deciding what kind of voices we want to be. And if this story made you pause, argue, agree, or rethink, say it out loud. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Conversations like this don't move forward unless people show up. And if you want more stories that cut through the noise and leave you thinking long after the screen goes dark, you know what to do. Stay connected, stay curious, and don't miss what comes next.